Hello, hello. Welcome to day one of the Blog for Better SEO challenge. I am so excited to be here with you all today. Let me pull this up, make sure we are showing up live. Awesome. Okay, it looks like we are live. Let me know in the comments if you're watching live, and if you're watching the replay, say hello in the comments below this video too. I would love to connect with you, even if you're watching this months later, to see how you're doing with the challenge and that you're excited to start blogging and you're excited to add blogging to your marketing toolbox. Oh, looks like we have quite a few of you on here live. Let me pull up the comments now. You should be able to comment right next to this video. Let me make sure it's popping in here. Hello, welcome. Hi, Sarah. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to, we get people from all over the world, so it's really fun to see where people are watching from. Hi, Auntie. Hi, Nicole. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to share with you how blogging can really impact your business, change your business for the better, and create long-term lead generation for you, because that's something that a lot of us are looking for in our business. We sometimes want those quick wins, right? We sometimes want to do the things that will get us results tomorrow. But what happens is if we're constantly doing quick wins and we're not quite seeing the results that we want over time, all of the sudden we realize, well, if we had just been doing those more long-term strategies from the beginning, we would have consistent results without that always on effort. Let's see here. Dora, hi from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Julie from Atlanta. So glad to have you here. I can't wait to see what you're going to be blogging about this year. Tom, hello from North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, welcome. Hi, April. Hi, Evans. Welcome. Hi from Tennessee. Tom, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm, again, really, really excited to kick things off today. I've been putting this challenge together for a while, and I've been wanting to start a challenge specifically about blogging, because blogging has changed my business in so many ways. And I remember when I first started my business a long time ago, and I, again, wanted those quick win solutions when it came to marketing. I wanted to figure out how I could get results right away. And the problem with that was I was trying different things. I was trying to figure out what I could do. I was trying different things on social media. I was doing all the latest trends when it came to marketing, when in reality, what I wish I had been doing, and now that I've been vlogging for a while, I know, but what I wish I had been doing was just putting in that slow and steady effort month over month to create content that would continue to bring new people to my business on an ongoing basis. If you've been following me for a while, I am a web designer, I am an SEO strategist, as well as a content creator. I have this YouTube channel, and I love blogging as well. It's been a big part of my business and one of the things that's really brought a lot of success to my business. And I'm really excited to share that with you and hopefully impart on you how fantastic and important blogging can be for your business, regardless of the type of business. And we'll talk more as we get into this about the different ways you can use blogging depending on what kind of business you run, whether it's a local business, whether it's a purely online business. There's a lot of different types of businesses that can benefit from blogging, and we'll go into the specifics of that. Feel free to ask questions in the comments as we go. Hello from Central Indiana. Hello from Ann Arbor. Welcome, welcome. Nova Scotia. Hi, Alyssa. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Mary. Awesome. I'm so excited. We have a bunch of you on here live. That's so much fun. So blogging for me was something that I put off for a really long time. Something that I thought, okay, I could just keep doing these little quick win marketing strategies and that will be enough. And eventually I decided, okay, I'm going to follow my own intuition. I'm going to follow my own recommendations, right? Because I've been telling myself to blog for a really long time, but just putting it off. So I finally did it. And I want to say I didn't start consistently maybe it was 3-4 years ago now. And I had been blogging up until that point, but really when I started to become consistently putting out content on a regular basis and really trying to up my game when it came to the content that I was creating, that's when I started to see results. And the really nice thing is now, there are times of the year where I have a busy season. And let me know if in the comments if you can relate with this, where part of your year is crazy busy and the other part of your year is a little quieter, right? We all have those busy seasons, quiet seasons. Maybe some of you are busy all year long, but a lot of us have those ups and downs throughout the year. And what's really nice about blogging is when I say consistent, I don't mean you have to be blogging consistently every single week, or you have to be putting new content out there every single week all year long, right? That's not necessary for you to be successful. Do you need to commit to it consistently? Do you need to commit to putting out content? You don't want to post one blog post and then drop off the face of the earth. That's not what we want to see. But as long as you're consistently posting, and we'll talk a little bit about what that cadence is going to look like for you, because it's going to be different for every business owner. Once you figure out that cadence, you can really commit to that and stick to it. It doesn't necessarily matter how often, but it matters that you are consistently putting content out there. And then you can always plan your year around that, right? So you could be consistently putting out a certain number of posts per year, taking into consideration the busy seasons, the quieter seasons, and figuring out what really works for you and your business. That's one of my favorite things about Google and Google's algorithm. Compared to social media, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but sometimes I will take time off of Instagram and then I'll feel like I come back to Instagram and I'm almost being punished a little bit by the Instagram algorithm for taking that time away. Who knows if that's true, right? None of us really know what's happening with the Instagram algorithm. But there's a lot of times where we feel like if you take that time off and you come back, is Instagram even showing your posts to different people anymore? Are you getting the same visibility you were before you took that break? And we're human. We need to take breaks sometimes. I know I took quite a bit of time off over the holidays. Alyssa was saying, yes, her business is very seasonal with wedding photography. Right. We all have times of the year where we can put more effort into our marketing and less effort into our marketing. And we shouldn't be penalized for that. And that's one of the things that I love about search engines and how Google works and how the algorithm works is it's not punishing you if you miss a post 1 month or something like that, right? What it is rewarding you for is that high quality content that you're putting out there, that high quality content that you're putting out there. And when I mean consistent, when I say consistent, I mean you're just not quitting, right? You don't just put a couple posts out there and then quit altogether. That is not being consistent. What is consistent is looking at long term what posts you want to create, when you want to create those posts, and working them into your calendar around when it makes sense for you and your business. This can work around you and your schedule. Way back in the day, blogging used to be much more like feed oriented. I don't know if any of you remember like FeedBurner or any of those RSS feeds where it would send out an email every week to your RSS subscribers, right? That's kind of a thing of the past. People still will check your blog somewhat consistently if you have active readers, but at the same time, you're not going to get in trouble with the algorithm for not sticking to a particular schedule. It's more about you setting that internal schedule for yourself based on when you can commit as a business owner, based on the other things that you've committed to and how you can kind of work blogging into that schedule. When you think about it that way, it really takes so much pressure off of you as a business owner to create content. And that's why I think it's one of the most doable, simple, and easy marketing strategies that you can work on, that you can commit to over the long run. So let me know. Let's see here. We have Carrie Ann from Amsterdam. Welcome. We have somebody from Holland here. Very cool. Terry's from Brooklyn. Awesome. It's so fun to see where you all are tuning in from. So again, going back to that social media algorithm versus the Google algorithm, and you might have heard me talk about this on social media or even over on my blog or YouTube channel, but when it comes to the social media algorithm, it's very social. It's very person to person. It's very friend based. And TikTok is getting a little bit more information based, right? It's not so much about who you're connected with and how connected you are with them. That's kind of what Instagram and Facebook have always been for in the past. TikTok's a little bit more information based. They're becoming a little bit more like a search engine, which is exciting. But Instagram very much so is trying to show people posts that they're going to engage with, that they're going to find entertaining, or posts that are related to people that they know and care about. So it's trying to show you posts of people that you're friends with or people that you're connected with. And that way you can stay in touch with those people. So as a business owner, it can be tough to break that social barrier. It can be tough to get that attention or get that engagement from people that you aren't necessarily friends with in real life, unless you're creating a lot of that entertaining style content, which it's not that I don't love that kind of content, the dancing, the trending sounds, those can be great for your business and marketing too. Personally, that's not what I want to spend the majority of my time on. That's something maybe fun I'll do once in a while, but I don't want that to be the core of my marketing strategy, because just for me personally, it doesn't really fit my brand, and it doesn't really, like, I have to be in a certain mood to create that content, whereas blogging is something I can do in my pajamas on a Monday afternoon when I have a little bit of extra time, although I don't know why I'd be in my pajamas Monday afternoon, maybe Monday evening to be more realistic. I can sit on the couch, I can pull my laptop out, and I can type up a blog post, and I don't have to be on, if that makes sense. I don't have to be feeling like I'm ready to go, feeling like I'm camera ready. And I know social media is all about being authentic, and you should be able to show up, with bags under your eyes and pajamas on, but that's not really me, and that's not something I really love to do. So for me, that's why blogging is so much more accessible, because I can do it at any time, any place. When I have a few spare minutes here or there, I can start to plan out a blog post, map out a blog post, and it's really, really powerful because of that. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to eliminate any excuses you have or excuses that you're telling yourself for why you shouldn't be blogging, or why you can't be blogging, or why you don't have enough time to blog. I'm eliminating those excuses. And I'm trying to get you to see how simple it is, how easy it is, and how much benefit it can bring to your business, especially as a small business owner, because the benefits are ongoing. Whereas one social media post, it might do well for a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks if it's really trending in the algorithm, right? But at the end of the day, that post is only going to live for so long, and then it's going to die off, and that engagement is going to die off. And yes, you could reshare the content, you could post it again to your stories, but typically it has a pretty short lifespan. Whereas blog content can live on and on and on. I have content that I have written 3, 4, 5 years ago, even back in the day when I was not publishing consistently, that is still bringing hundreds of people to my blog every single week, to my website every single week. You want people to see you as a resource. You want people to see you as a valuable source of information. And we'll talk about the type of content that you want to be creating in a later day of this challenge, right? Today's not going to be about that, but we're going to get into that a little bit later in the challenge and help you brainstorm some topic ideas that are going to be specifically helpful for you and your business and the type of clients that you want to reach in your business, which is the most important thing, right? Blogging is not a one-size-fits-all strategy. It's going to be different for each and every business, and it's all about knowing your ideal clients and knowing what they want. But we'll get into that in a later day of this challenge, which I'm really, really excited about. Sarah says, I love this. This is exactly why I want to blog. Yes, it's so, so important, because again, you do that, you create that piece of content one time. You put that effort in one time, and the benefits really are ongoing. I call it like the snowball effect. You're building that momentum over time. It's so powerful, because any content that you are creating really you should get the most bang for your buck in terms of the time you put in, the energy that you put in, and the results that you get out. And the other cool thing is all of those blog posts that you create can make great reels, can make great TikToks, can make great email newsletter topics. You can repurpose that content so you're not starting from scratch with the rest of your marketing. For me personally, a lot of my content starts with blog content, and then it goes out from there to be repurposed for my other channels. And that way I'm never starting from scratch when it comes to, hey, what should I post on Instagram this week? Or what should I send my email newsletter this week? I go back through and I look at posts that I've created, and some of those posts that I repurposed for email newsletters, I wrote those years ago too, but the content is still valuable. The content is still relevant. And if someone hasn't heard it yet or hasn't read it yet, they should, right? They should still read it, so I can still promote that older content. And that's what's called evergreen content. And we can talk more about that too, but as you're creating blog content, it's important to remember, is this something that's going to be useful now for my ideal clients, or is this something that they'll still find useful weeks, months, years from now? And that's the golden content. That is the content that will continue to bring people to your business because it lives forever and it's valuable forever. And you can always update posts too, which is really easy as well. So I want to know in the comments, how many of you know what an MVP is? And I'm not talking about a most valuable player, but an MVP, a minimum viable product. How many of you have heard about this? Let me know in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay here, so I'll give you all a second and take a sip of my tea. I'm having a little matcha latte this morning, although it's kind of cold now. Tom said evergreen content. Yes. Let me know if you've heard of an MVP before. I really want to know. Okay. So, an MVP, a minimum viable product, is typically used in the startup space, or at least that's where I've experienced that term being used. But what it is when you're looking at launching something new, when you're looking at launching something new into your business, or as a startup, a new product, a new software as a service, a new idea, whatever it is, it can be really tempting in your brain to start building it out into this huge thing, to start building it out into this like giant idea with all these bells and whistles and this product that you're creating. You want it to have this feature and that feature, and you want it to do this thing. And you're like, wouldn't it be great to launch this product with all these great, amazing features that are going to do all these crazy things for your ideal clients, right? That's a beautiful idea. It's a wonderful idea. But in reality, as a startup, as a small business, whatever it is, you want to think about, before I launch this, what is the minimum version of this thing that we can launch? We don't want all the bells and whistles from the get-go. We don't want to start with at a 10 out of 10, right? Maybe we start at like a 5 out of 10 and we work our way up to that 10 once we start getting feedback from our audience, right? So say you're creating this widget and you want it to do 10 different things to launch, and you're like, oh, I'm so excited. This is the dream for this widget that I'm creating. But then you have to think to yourself, I only have so much time to commit to this. I only have so much budget because, you're a new startup. Say you're a new startup building these widgets in business. You only have so much budget, so much time. We need to create the minimum viable version of this product, the MVP. And what that means is we get it out into the world. We let people get a hold of it. We let people start using it a little bit. Maybe our users recommend features. And again, this is like in the startup space, right? But we can apply this to blogging too, and I'll get to that in just a second. So you're creating the minimum launchable version of this product. We get it out into the world, and then we're able to take that and pivot and add to it and, add on those other 5 features. And maybe we add more features that we never even thought about because we're getting feedback from the people in our audience, the people who are actually using these widgets. And we can do this in the blogging space as well. And I'm going to call it the MVB, the minimum viable blog, or the minimum viable blog post, right? What is that? What can we get out into the world? Because if you're not blogging at all right now, and maybe you've tried and you've fallen off the bandwagon, or maybe you've tried and you've said, oh, this is just too hard, and you throw your hands up and you're like, I quit, I can't do this, I don't have the time, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not a good writer. What are some of those excuses? Let me know in the chat there. What are some of the reasons that you have told yourself, I want to blog, but not right now, or I can't blog right now, I just don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the writing ability, whatever it is? What are those excuses that you have told yourself? So what I want you to do instead, the only way to crush those excuses is to think about, what is a different version of this that we can launch, right? Instead of saying, and what we do a lot of times, we want to start blogging. We say, well, if I'm going to start blogging, it has to be twice a week. And each post has to be 1,500 words because that's what Google told me needs to be, is the right amount of words for search engine optimization. And I have to write 1,500 words. It has to be twice a week. I have to do all of this perfect keyword research to get the posts optimized just right. And I need to know exactly how to optimize each post. And I need to make sure that every post has at least 10 images and those images are all optimized, right? We tell ourselves this is what blogging is. And while that might be blogging for a big agency that has a team of 5 writers and it has SEO strategists who are on their team ready to go, that is not you. And it is okay that that is not what your blog looks like, because we don't need you to be the best blogger in the world. We don't need you to be the perfect blogger who knows exactly what they're doing when it comes to SEO, who knows, can sit down and crank out 1,500 words in an hour, right? We don't need that version of you. We don't need that, because that's not an MVB. That is not a minimum viable blog. We don't need you to be the best. We need you to start. We need you to just start blogging, and we need you to eventually be one step better than your competition. And I bet you, if we looked around at all of your competition, we would realize they're setting the bar pretty low. And so when you think about blogging and you set all these constraints for yourself, saying it has to be this and it has to be this often and I have to write this many words, what you're really doing is you're stopping yourself from starting. You're preventing yourself from even taking that first step, because you've already hit the point of overwhelm where you're like, I can't start because there's too much that I need to do. So what we need to do is we need to shrink that to-do list down and say, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to be the best blogger. I'm not even trying to be a professional blogger. I'm just trying to start blogging and find a version of this that I can do consistently, whatever consistently looks like for you. It's not about the consistency. It's really about a cadence. And what I mean by cadence is deciding what and how often, right? So what is your goal with blogging? How often can you feasibly create content? If it's once a week, great. That's pretty ambitious, right? I try for once a week. Do I always make it? No, but I now have a team of 2 other people that help me with blogging. When I first started blogging, it was just me. And I was once every other week was what I was doing. And I didn't even always make that. And then, you know what? I was very forgiving with myself if I wasn't able to hit that. But every other week, right? Twice a month, that's 24 posts in a year. And if just 3 of those 24 posts takes off and really starts to do well, that alone is worth it if it's bringing you consistent clients every single month. And you take a break for 2 months and you're still getting that traffic month over month. So today's challenge, yes, Erin said, done is better than perfect. Oh, I love seeing all these people on here that I haven't talked to in a little while, but I have in my community. Yes, Julie, love this message. Exactly what I needed to be reminded of today. Yes, you need it to be all that, so then you don't do it. Exactly. So what we're going to do today, and you can write this on a piece of paper, and what I would love you to do to hold yourself accountable is to write this on a piece of paper, write it in your notes app, take a screenshot, and if you're comfortable doing that, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'll tell you what to include in it in a minute. And you could even just post a story of you talking if you want to put your face on there. If you don't, that's cool too. If you just want to take a screenshot of your little handwritten notes, that's cool. If you want to just type it out on Notes app and screenshot it and post on your stories. But I think announcing it to the world is a great way to hold yourself accountable. And tag me, because I want to reshare and I want to see what you all are working on and I want to see what you're committing to. So what you're going to write down on a scrap piece of paper, on anything, I don't care. You're going to write down how often that you think realistically you can publish a new post. And really be realistic with yourself. So if you're the type of person who is an overachiever and you're the type of person who likes to kind of, you get really excited and you're like, oh, well, I can definitely do once a week, I encourage you to try for twice a month. If you're the type of person who, again, is like, okay, I'm really, really excited about this. I can definitely do it. But you're not thinking about all the other things that you've committed to. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you are super busy and you're in your busy season right now. Like, think realistically, what can you do? And take the pressure off yourself to not have it have to be perfect. These posts just have to be published. Published over perfect. I always love done is better than perfect, but in this case, published is better than perfect. Because you know what? If you find a post that's like starting to do pretty well in search, and you're like, okay, over time we're tracking this, and we'll go over how to track this later, because I actually want to go over how to look at your analytics and how to see what's working for you, right? Once, when we're thinking about it, how long do you want these posts to be? What are, we'll talk about the topics later, but really today I want you to focus on the cadence. How often can you be publishing new content? And take into consideration everything else you've committed to in your day-to-day life, personal and professional. Take into consideration the fact that these posts do not have to be perfect. They do not have to be essays. They do not have to be perfectly edited and grammatical error free, right? They do not have to be perfect, but they do have to be published. And what is that cadence for you? What does that cadence look like for you? And you can share in the chat too. I would love to hear from you and tell me what that blogging schedule is going to be. Is it every other week? Is it once a month? Once a month is still fine too. That is 12 more posts per year than you would have written if you never started. And after 2 years, that's 24 posts, right? It's compounding interest. It builds over time. It's that snowball effect, that momentum. But I look back and I say, what if I had started with one post every other month, but 6 years ago, right? How would that have changed my business? Or 10 years ago when I started my business? How would that have changed my business if I just started then? So that's what I want you to think about. Is if you start, the best time to start was yesterday. And I know some of you have been blogging. Julie, I know you're already a blogger and you're doing great with your post content. You're getting engagement on that content. But think about, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is today. What can you commit to with your life, your business, the way it is now, without changing a whole lot? Because I'm not asking you to rearrange your schedule. I'm not asking you to give up movie night with your family. I'm not asking you to change anything that you're doing. I'm just asking you to prioritize this and figure out what that looks like for you and what's really, really reasonable. That's not going to overwhelm you. That's not going to stress you out. And you know what? If you miss one, instead of saying, you know what, I missed my schedule, I'm off the schedule, I quit, I can't do this, I clearly messed up, right? Then I want you to think about forgiveness and think about saying, you know what, that's okay. None of us are perfect. The goal wasn't to do this every single time that I set. The goal was, if I missed one, to then dust myself off and say, all right, I'm going to pick this back up next week and I can do this. Because you can do this. I know you can do this. I know you can prioritize this and set just a little bit of time in your schedule. Andy said once a month, the stretch goal of 2 per month. Perfect. Once a month is great. Once a month, like I said, 12 more posts a year than you would have written otherwise. And you know what? If you get to the beginning of we're in 2023 now, geez. If you get to the beginning of 2024 and you didn't write 12 blog posts in that year and you thought about catching up, it would take you forever to sit down and write 12 blog posts if you were like, oh, I have to get this done this week because I didn't do anything for the last year. That's how much that effort builds up, right? That's how much that effort builds up. It's actually a lot. It doesn't sound, once a month does not sound like a lot, but when you think about a year later having those 12 posts written and published, that's a lot. And you wouldn't have done that otherwise if you didn't prioritize, if you didn't set aside the time. Carry on coaching. I'm also going to start with 1 per month. That's amazing. Nicole, I'm going to give myself some grace and start with once per month. I love this. This is exactly what I want. I want to hear about you giving yourself grace. I want to hear about you setting a reasonable schedule, because the reason we fail is because we set our expectations too high and then we don't meet them. And that makes us feel bad. That hurts our ego. That makes us feel like this isn't for us, that we can't do this, that this wasn't meant for us, right? And it is. But you have to set a reasonable expectation. And if you mess up, that's okay too. You just pick up where you left off. You don't give yourself a hard time. You don't quit. You don't say, I can't do this. You just say, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to dust myself off, and I'm going to pick up where I left off, and nothing's going to have changed, right? Because even if you miss 1 month, that's 11 posts per year. And I see Alyssa. Let's see here. Alyssa, I think you said 2 posts per month. I love it. This is great. Let's see. Julie says, thanks for the kind words, to get into the rhythm again. Yes. It's all about finding that rhythm, but being okay if you mess up, because we all mess up. We all have busy times, and that's okay. You just want to prioritize it. And that could be a lot of different things, right? That could mean putting a Post-it note on your computer screen or above your desk that you look at every single week. So that way you know it's there, and it just reminds you to build time into your schedule to get this done. Terry says, I'm going to try for 1 post a month. Janelle says 2 times per month because I'm the person that I can do. Yes, she says I can do it 1 per week person. Right. There's a lot of you out there. I'm the same way where I'm like, I have all the time in the world. Of course I can do this. And then you remember all the other things that you've committed to. Tapara says once per month. Awesome. Okay, great. This is awesome. So if you can, write this down on a piece of paper, because I think writing it down with your hand is just a great way to commit something to memory, and just to commit it to your subconscious so that it sticks in your mind. The other thing you can do is, like I said, write it in a notes app, put a little block on your calendar every week so that you see that in there and you're reminded, okay, Friday mornings, whatever it is, Wednesday mornings, I set aside an hour to get this done. One other thing I'll leave you with today is that when you say you don't have enough time for something, when you say to yourself, when you use time as an excuse, I'm too busy, I don't have time for that, what you're telling me, what you're telling yourself is that I haven't made this thing in my life or business a priority. And that's okay for some things. Everything cannot be a priority. But what you're really telling yourself when you say, I don't have enough time, is you are saying, I haven't made this particular thing a priority. So I challenge you, because we picked such a lenient, comfortable schedule for this, we picked a lenient goal, an easy goal, right? With that minimum viable blog post. I want you to say, I've made this easy. Now I'm going to prioritize it, because it's not that hard. I'm going to prioritize it, and I am going to make time for this, and I'm going to put it over other things. And when I'm thinking about prioritizing things, there are things in your schedule that you have to get done. For example, if you're a photographer, you have to deliver that gallery by the date and time that you said you were going to deliver it, for the most part, right? Like, you want to deliver on time. If you have external deadlines put on you by other people, or deadlines shared with other people, you are probably going to get those things done. And no matter how you fit them into your calendar, they're going to get done because you feel that external pressure. Blogging and marketing your own business doesn't really have that external pressure, because it's just pressure you put on yourself. And so those are the things that fall through the cracks in your business, because they're not things that other people are holding you accountable for. And we'll talk a little bit about how you can get some accountability for this as we get further into the challenge. But that means that in some cases, you have to put this blog post, however frequently you said you're going to do it for your business, you have to put this blog post above other things in your schedule, in your to-do list. Prioritize it over other things that you know you're going to get done, because you're going to get those other things done. But you might skip this if you put it afterwards and it's the end of the day and you're tired and you just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. You're going to put this blog post off. That's why I recommend you put it at the top of your to-do list on one day, every other week, whatever it was. Put it at the top of your schedule. Start your day. Don't even check your email. Don't even look at your text messages. Just start your day by blogging and get that post done and get it published, and say, you know what? Publish is better than perfect. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be great. You can edit it later, right? Social media posts, you can't really edit later. I mean, I guess you could go in there and edit an old post, but no one's really going to see it. You can totally edit your blog post later. You can go back 3 months later and be like, oops, I misspelled this word, or oops, this doesn't quite make sense. I mean, obviously we want to do our basic due diligence of editing our own content, but very lightly, right? This does not have to be a big deal. And at the beginning, there's really no one going to be reading your blog. Very few people are going to be reading your blog. So there's not a lot of people out there who are going to be judging you if your content's not perfect, because it's probably going to be me reading your blog post, maybe a few other people in those very early days, because it takes time. So use this time when no one's really paying attention, when you're just getting started. Use this time to just get that messy first draft done, get it edited, get it published, and not think twice about it. Carrie Ann said, oh man, Emily in Paris is always calling to me like a siren song. Time blocking is important. Yes, yeah, be wary of Netflix. So that's why I like to schedule things for my own business in the beginning of the day, because I do it before I have any distractions. I do it before I jump into all things that I have to do, right? Because this is a It's a like to do task, right? Blogging is I would like to get that done, but I don't necessarily have to because no one's going to be breathing down my neck. Well, you have to be the one breathing down your own neck to get it done on those days. You have to be the one that's saying, you know what, I'm going to put this first today. This is going to be my priority today before I check my email, before I check my text messages, everything else. So for today, write down that cadence that you're committing to. Write it on a piece of paper, put it on a Post-it note, stick it to your computer, stick it to your wall, put it in your calendar. Take a picture of that, post it on your stories, tag me over on Instagram at localcreative.co. I would love to see what you're doing. I would love to reshare. I would love to hold you accountable and follow up with you and see how that's going. And again, we'll talk about some more ways for accountability a little bit later in this challenge. If you found this helpful, again, let me know in the chat. I would love to hear from you, and I cannot wait to see you all back here for day 2 tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. I will see you there. And again, if you're watching the replay, this applies for you too. Let us know in the comments. Let me know over on Instagram what you decided to stick with as the cadence for your blog. I cannot wait to see you all tomorrow. I'll hang out for just a couple minutes in case you have any questions. Tom said 2 times a month because I want to do 3 per week. There you go. I love this. I love that we are already seeing people who know that you're an overachiever, which is totally cool. I am too. But we have to be like, what's my first gut reaction for how many posts that I can actually create? And then take that and be like, all right, what if we did half that amount, right? Because it's very easy to want to do more, to push yourself. This is not about pushing ourselves. This is not about doing everything that you can possibly do and making yourself miserable. This is about finding that minimum viable blog post, finding that minimum viable blog schedule that you can stick to, that's comfortable, that's doable for you. You are all so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Nicole, thank you. Julie, Terry, Tenacious Buddies, Janelle, and Alyssa, thank you all so much. It's been so much fun hanging out with you. I'm really excited for tomorrow to see you all back here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.